Okay, good evening and a very, very warm welcome to all of you to this inauguration of the Rishi Rina Mumbai Chapter. I start with a quotation by Professor V.N. Jha. Sanskrit is not just a language, it's a repository of all that we can be proud of. And I think this has resonated with me, and I'm just beginning to understand the extent of this repository. For about 2000 years, if we take a conservative view, say approximately 500 BC to 1500 AD, the Indian subcontinent has enjoyed a highly developed intellectual society. It was a society where holistic education as a norm was imparted. The quest was to understand the truth. It was also a society where complete freedom of thought was not only allowed but also encouraged. Debates, challenges were all part of the education process. This indeed helped develop a wide spectrum of knowledge and wealth of wisdom. Unfortunately, this process has been slowly erased and forgotten by the common individual today. Today, we as a society are completely unaware of this rich knowledge that is lying in our academic libraries. The subjects covered are vast, and each of the subjects are dealt with depth and minute detail, be it the arts, sciences, philosophy, spirituality, and so on. These ancient knowledge systems, if studied, could be very helpful even today in our day-to-day modern lives. We at Rishi Rina believe that it's time to bring these out of our libraries that can enrich us not only in our philosophical pursuits, but can be useful in our daily lives, daily lives as well, sorry. The idea of this lecture is to bring a basic awareness and to inform. Our job today will be to introduce only in the help that it piques your curiosity to take up this great learning knowledge. Thank you. With this, I hand over the mic to Kanviji. He will introduce Professor Jha and his vision and mission of Rishi Rina. But before that, please switch off your mobile phones. I would request you all not to interrupt the lecture with any questions. We have an informal Q&A with tea and snacks, and I think we'll try and answer any queries at that time. Thank you so much. Oh, you have?
Yeah, I have a little mic. Yeah. Thank you, Brindaji. Gurur Brahmo, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo, Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. It's my privilege to introduce Professor Jha today, and Rishi Rina Trust, Mumbai Chapter, and Brindaji has given me this task, and I'll try to say a few words. His body of work and what he's doing now, what he has done earlier is very vast. So I'll try to, in a short time, about 5-10 minutes maximum, I'll try to say a few words about him. Professor Jha is, we are very lucky to have him here today because he's one of the leading exponents and interpreter of the Indian intellectual traditions. And in that, he has done enormous amount of research work. He's one of the leading Nyayikas living today in the world. And he has taught as a teacher in Pune University and JNU and several universities all over the world, in Germany, in Japan, in Mauritius, and so on. He has taught students about Indian philosophy, and he has done extensive work in linguistics, in grammar, in Vyakarana, what is called Vyakarana, in Nyaya, in Mimamsa, and written about 150 research papers. About 35 students have done PhD under his guidance, and he has written, edited, contributed to about at least 50 volumes. And just a few of them, which you can look up in Amazon, which are available even on Amazon, shows the breadth of his work. You know, philosophy of Paramarsha, the on linguistics, grammar, language, his commentary, translation and commentary of famous Nyaya, Nave Nyaya work, Tarka Sangraha of Annam Bhatta, pre-Paninian grammatical traditions, on philosophy of relations, and a very unique book which was found, I think somewhere in Kutch, uh, Tattvo Paplava Simha of Jayarasi Bhatta. And everybody was very excited when that manuscript was discovered, I think in the 60s. And it was because it looked like a first heterodox book which challenged the Vedic tradition, and people thought it was a Charvaka book. It turned out it wasn't. It was a skeptic philosophy's book. But he translated it into English, and that is a first translation of that work. That is also available on Amazon. And he has written about poetics, Indian tradition of poetics from Bharata to Jagannatha, and so on. I mean, his work is very vast. And this, besides this you can say is a great body of work, academic work in Sanskrit studies. He established the Center for UGC Center, Center for Advanced Study in Sanskrit in Pune University. He worked there from 1979 to 2006. That is 27 years. And he was the director of the institute. He established the Center for Sanskrit Studies, Special Center for Sanskrit Studies in JNU, and so on. So his body of work, academic work, is very vast and is highly appreciated all over the world and in all the Sanskrit departments and all that. But along with that, the face that we are seeing of his work today is he and his life partner, Professor Ujjwala Jha, who sadly is no more with us. Together, she was also a great teacher, and together they started this trust called Rishi Rina Trust about 25 years ago. And through that, the philosophy as is exactly what the name suggests, that we have a rina, a debt to our rishis. So we are obliged to share what we know, what we have understood with others. So knowledge is not something to be kept to ourselves, and knowledge for knowledge sake type of thing. But once we acquired it, we should distribute it as widely as possible. That is the philosophy which they followed and started this. And for last nearly 25 years, they have been holding workshops. And these workshops, I have attended 5 of them recently in the last 6-7 years since I met him in 2016. He had come to speak in National Institute of Advanced Studies in Bangalore. We had an international conference on consciousness studies, and he spoke there. And after the talk, I talked to him, and I was looking for somebody like him. And I am sure there are many others like me who want to know about Indian philosophy, but who are not well versed in the classical Indian languages, Sanskrit, Pali, or Prakrit. So, and he said, come join us, we have these workshops and we'll let you know, and you are welcome to participate in them. So I have participated in at least 5 of them on almost all the Vedic, introduction to Vedic darshanas. But he has conducted many at different levels, starting from 0 level, level 1, level 2, level 3, in each one of them, in Mimamsa, in Nyaya, Navinyaya, and so on. So, and in fact, he is starting a series now on the Nastika darshanas, because the Indian intellectual traditions contain both the Astika darshanas, the Vedic darshanas, and the Nasik Darshanas, the Charvaka, Jaina, Bauddha. So in fact, the very first in that series is going to be within a month, starting in mid-February, in Chinmaya Ashram near Ernakulam. That will be a discussion of the Charvaka Darshana. And so it is really these workshops are from 9 to 6 for 10 days to 15 days, depending on the length of the text. And the original text is taken, and every single shloka, literally word by word, is explained in English, in various languages, and each one of them has at least 50 students from all over India and some from abroad, who all are serious about studying Indian darshanas. And I come from a natural science physics background and from a very materialist philosophy, so I was very keen to understand what is Bharatiya Darshana, and I have greatly benefited by Sir's teaching in that. And I'm sure I can see a few faces here who have already been to some of these workshops, but there are many who are not, and I welcome you all to these workshops also. And any future workshops and programs of the Trust will be put up on the website of the Rishi Rina Trust. It is called vidyavatika.org. So that carries all the announcements of these workshops. And also each one of these lectures, because each course will have 20 to 30, depending on the 20 to 30 lectures, from 1 to 2 hours each. And they have been very professionally videographed, edited, and those videos are also available in a thumb drive form. Earlier they used to have DVDs, but now DVDs are no longer usable, so they are in the thumb drive form, etc. So you can also avail of what you have missed by just ordering those lectures, in the video format. So what else I can say? I think I have greatly benefited by Sir's exposition, and not only the formal teaching in these workshops, but in fact, we never let him rest in the breaks, and we harass him with all sorts of questions, and very patiently he and Ujjwalaji have explained to us, and I think I welcome you all to participate in that thing, and there is a fountain of knowledge. We all are welcome to come and drink from there. Thank you very much. Sir.
Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande paramananda madhavam ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshur unmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namah. More than required has also already been said. I am thankful to Shivanandaji and Brindaji. Brindaji has very nutshell put everything that is what is being done. So, friends, it's a kind of a gathering where I have come to request you to look into your past, the contributions intellectually, philosophically, and spiritually in all aspects of life. How much contribution has been made by our ancestors. It is so unfortunate that even after independence, when we are free to chalk out our own plan of knowledge, acquiring, we could not do it. And all my life I have been experiencing that there has remained a very big gap. It should have been known by each and every citizen of this country. At least this much is expected, no? What has been the contribution of my own country in these areas? I should be aware. Even if I don't want to accept it, I want to reject it. How can you reject without knowledge? Is it not irrational to do this? Should I learn something from a politician, what the intellectual tradition is, or what a philosophical tradition is, or what a spiritual tradition is, and we form our own ideas and then just forget ourselves and engage in all sorts of problems that we are facing every day. This is not today. Now I am 78, and all my life I have been experiencing wrong ideas. This is what is called ajnana. And many times you enjoy more ajnana than jnana. And you celebrate ajnana. This has happened. Even I could not convince my own colleagues in universities because they have a fixed color of the goggle. And only through those specs they will be looking at that. Oh, this project is not going to fetch any fund from any source. So what am I to do with this? As if all that is to be done is to be weighed only in terms of fun. What about you? Have you ever cared to know yourself? So all this has been troubling me all my life. So me and my wife, now she's no more to help me, we decided that at least nobody can stop me what we want to do. Let them not do, but they cannot now stop me what I want to do. And we decided to share whatever little we have acquired from our gurus. In Dharma Shastra, there is a concept of Rina. Rina is debt. There are three types: Deva Rina, Pitra Rina, and Rishi Rina. These are the three types. This is a social obligation. So Rishi Rina, what is Rishi Rina? Rishi Rina is whatever you have acquired from Guru, that debt you can repay not to him, but to the entire society. So this is sharing what you have acquired. This is what is called a Rishi Rina. Rishi has given you, now you repay. He wants that you repay it by sharing with others. This is the idea. And with that idea, we formed the trust in Pune. And the other day, we opened a chapter in Kolkata. Now, Brindaji came forward and she arranged it here. Now, our next friend, where is he? He will be in Delhi. So this idea again, where from this idea came? Rotary Club you have, no? And Rotary Club has your chapter worldwide. So why not Rishi Rina Trust can have chapters worldwide? It is this idea that came to my mind and we have started. And So I especially thank you all for coming. Today I give a very broad picture, and you can realize that what we are missing. I know that in 1 hour I cannot do anything. Even one system of knowledge I cannot present before you fully, but just an overall picture. And at least some of you may feel like going deeper and deeper, and that will be reward given to me. With this, I just a minute. Now, so let us say this is 500 BC. It's a very, very old culture, old civilization in the world. There is no doubt, at least to this, I believe. So naturally, when thousands of years of reflections, human beings were living, they cannot live without reflections. And when there is a tradition of reflection, then there is every chance that new ideas come, and how these ideas are to be made available to others. They all kept on thinking and theorizing, forming a model, tools, framework of thinking, what not. All this is kept on happening. And fortunately, a good amount of that literature, all has not come down to us. Many are lost. But whatever has come down to us is so huge, Huze, so huge, you cannot believe unless you peep into it. Even if you take one system, it will be amazing kind of depth that they have acquired. So it's a huge literature. So being a teacher, I will only advise how to study. So I will tell you how to study. Whole literature, you make a point here, because this date is almost certainly known to us. This is the date of a great intellectual called Panini, who wrote grammar of Sanskrit language called Ashtadhyayi. Now the computer scientists all over the world are at a loss to understand how a human being can write such a book. There is a linguist called Bloomfield. If there are students of language and you have our linguistics, you may recollect the book is called Language. And there he says that Panini's Ashtadhyayi, it's a monument of, I'm quoting, a monument of human intelligence. It is 500 BC. This is the time of near about the same era of Kautilya, another giant, political scientist, economist, commerce, and all that, that kind of. So you put it, literature before Panini, now beginning not known to us exactly. And after that, so this literature up to Panini, you make it one block, and the literature which followed up Panini make another block. In this way, if you study, you will see that how slowly the reflections are becoming deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and all out of necessity. necessity is a mother of invention, we say, no? So whenever, whatever was needed, it was reflected upon and that depth was reached. This is my understanding of my whole life, and so I became restless that why I alone should know this and why not all. It is only with this idea of sharing whatever we have acquired that this attempt is being done, whatever capacity the God has given with that. And I again appeal to all of you to join. Let it be a movement of acquainting ourselves with the contributions of our forefathers. If you find them useful, I found them mostly useful. But again, I will tell you, I will not impose any opinion of mine on you. You judge yourself. And if you feel, then you allow your younger ones to be aware about it and keep on studying and contributing. This is the only service to humanity that you can make. And this is very rich. We are very rich in this. Very, very, very rich in this. You can see that. Slowly, slowly, I will give you so a broad picture I am going to draw. Keep this dichotomy in mind. So this literature here, Vedic literature you have here. And then, so Sanskrit is Vedic Sanskrit and classical Sanskrit. So Vedic Sanskrit before that. Classical Sanskrit after that. All that has happened. Okay. Now, so now first book known to humanity. What is that? The Rig Veda. No such book, no book of this kind was known to human being except Rig Veda. Where is it? In India. So Rig Veda, the first book known to the civilization. First poetry known to the world, Rig Veda. First prose known to the world, Krishna Yajurveda, Shukla Yajurveda. These are all. Now, what was the date of Rig Veda? Max Muller put it because they had some different things in their mind. So 1500 BC. Now Balagangadhar Tilak, who wrote Orion, there is a book called Orion, Constellation. Being a student of astronomy and mathematics, he studied the description of Orion in the Rig Veda. And he said, how can it be 1500? So he assigned at least 6000 before BC, the date of the Rig Veda. Imagine now, what would have been the situation of civilization in other parts of the world? Okay. They said that the Rigvedic civilization is a tribal civilization. These are the, you see, the translations have spoiled the whole thing. So tribal, clan. But I will show you what kind of ideas this text give you. Can a clan make this kind of observation, this kind of generalization of a highest kind? So the first grammar of any language known to the world, just now I mentioned Panini. And what it is a machine. Rules of grammar, limited number of rules of grammar, infinite number of constructions. And this was celebrated in 20th century by a linguist called Chomsky. Many of you might have heard his name, Chomsky. Generative grammar, generative linguistics. And here is a person, 500 BC, he prepares rules of grammar of a language, and mathematically he arranges those rules in such a way that as in machine, you go on giving commands and you get the gate in an order. In the same way, this is work. So the computer scientists are amazed, my God, how is it? So many are engaged in treating the grammar of Sanskrit language as a model of machine. Why not our students of computer science do this? But did we ever tell them this? This gap is troubling me, not allowing me to sleep. First descriptive linguist of the world, Panini. First generative linguist of the world, Panini. Few years back, Chomsky had visited India. Now he has become very old now. He is still alive. And he was asked this question. Even a footnote has not been given, you know that. He was asked in Calcutta that the language that you are using, you prepare a grammar of English language and you say that grammar is a generative grammar. Idea of generative grammar is that with a limited number of rules, unlimited number, infinite number of sentences you can produce. That grammar. But that grammar was done by Panini. When there was no grammar in the world, you should have at least put a footnote that this idea came to you, even a footnote. Then he said, he's so clever. No? He says that after studying my theory of generative grammar, you will understand Panini better. Anyway, I will take a whole night to talk like this. First lexicon produced in the world. Nighantu, Yaska, before Panini. So dictionary, not only dictionary, principles of making dictionary. Not only, okay, collect the words and put there, give the meanings. Okay, from tomorrow 25 rupees per copy. Principles, homonyms, synonyms, all that they talk about now, all these are discussed in that Nighantu, Yaska Acharya, who flourished just before Panini. I can go on giving first. So please someone come forward tomorrow and start preparing a note how many first the India had. Yeah, children should enjoy, no? They should feel proud to be born in this country. Anyway, I become more emotional than with all this. Next one. Value. What is the highest value that human beings should possess? Tyaga, sharing. If that is the highest value, then society must cultivate. And they must cultivate through a model of cultivation. And what was that? Everything is known to you. But I am giving you a perspective to look at it. And the term which is known to you is, oh my God, this professor has come to talk again the same thing. It is yaga. How do you translate it in English? Sacrifice. What is the meaning? That meaning you take. Tyaga. Why do I say this? Every offering, have you ever seen performance of Vedic ritual? Many of you might have. There is an Advaryu, a leader. There are priests, 4 Vedas, so many priests. One is a leader called Advaryu. In Marathi, you use this term Advaryu, Neta. So Advaryu offers oblation to the fire. And at the end, he will be uttering some mantra. Then he will be offering, and then he will say, Idam na mama. Invariably, this clause is followed. Idam na mama. I got excited because of this clause. Idam na mama. Every time he will say this, idam na mama. Idam indraya, idam suryaya, idam na mama. And Shankara's commentary, when you read it, you understand, what is yours? Idam na mama. Then as I started searching whether this idea, this value, this highest value, there cannot be, if this value is worshipped by each and every human being in life, is there going to be any problem in life? Social life, national life, any life? Is it possible? No. So that is Tyaga. Ishavasya Upanishad, many of you might have read. Ishavasya, small Upanishad. The first mantra in that is Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita. Enjoy. He is not telling you don't do anything. Run into the forest. No. Enjoy. But how? Tyagena. Keep on inculcating the sense of giving, sense of sharing, sense of sacrificing. That is the value. For that, enjoy. Do that, enjoy. Then I looked into Bhagavad Gita. Now what is Tyagat Shanti Nirantaram? Tyaga is alone item which is going to give you contentment in life. And that is why Nishkama Karma. So the source of Nishkama Karma, now go on tracing, you will trace in the Vedic ritual culture, Idam na mama. From there this idea has came. If that value, that is the value. Yes, yeah. So, Nishkama Karma. Tyagat Shanti Nirantaram. You just scan, go on searching, and you will find this thread. You join the dots, and you go the history of this idea of Tyaga. That is the value to be worshipped in the society, in every home, every human being's life. So, acquire and share. That's all. Next one, show me. So now, all this is happening. Is it that today I want to do this kind of thing? Tomorrow you will say, let us do this kind of yaga, this kind of. So, it should be based on text. So, yaga culture, the Vedic culture was a text-based culture. Why it is text-based culture? Now you know the reason. If Tyaga is the highest value, And if sense of value is to be inculcated through yaga, we have seen they have started. And if yaga is based on text, yaga is based on text, then what is your duty now? To see that the text must continue from generation to generation, so that the society is with the text, on the basis of which they can go on doing this enact. I always call it a street play. Yaga is a street play to inculcate the value. How were the texts? There was no writing. It's an oral tradition. How difficult it is to preserve the text if the tradition is oral. Immediately necessity now. How to preserve it? Because text has a form. Text is a language. So language has a form, and language has a content. And this is the relationship between form and content. That relationship is grammar of language. So, text has a form and a content. So, preservation of form and content now responsibility of the society. How to preserve the text which is oral? Number of methods were invented to achieve this goal. And those methods are called Prakriti Patha. Patha is recitation, mode of recitation. Vikriti Patha and Matra Patha. Now, suppose there is a mantra which has a sequence of this kind. This is called Sanghita Patha. And if you want to preserve this, this has to be preserved. This is the text available in this form. It has to be preserved in oral tradition. How should you do? You first identify what is A, what is B, C, D, E, F, and so on. This is called Padapatha. Identifying pada units. There is no magic that the Rigveda of, even if Tilak is accepted 6000 BC, that text has come down to us today without loss of a single syllable. No magic. It is simply perspiration. Visit Gaisas Guruji's Pathshala in Pune and see how the children are. Gaam nikal raha hai. How they are doing. It is through this method. So, Prakriti. So, where you do not disturb the order, this is called Prakriti Patha. A, B, C, D, E, F, in this order. So, Sanghita Patha, Padapatha, Krama Patha. These are also, this is Sanghita Patha, this is Padapatha, and Krama. Now you combine these two, A, B, then B with C, B, C, C with D, C, D, and so on. Why are they doing this? By doing this, they will come to know that what changes are occurring when they are combined together. Which one is influencing which one? So they were not just satisfied with the information. They wanted to know they were sitting, perhaps they must be sitting by the side with a pen and pencil and noting down what are the rules of changes, possible changes. So then this is Prakriti Patha. Then they started doing Vikriti Patha. So AB, BA, You see, they're changing the order. So Vikriti, Vikara. And there are 8 forms of such methods of reciting the text. They are known by these names. Jata, Mala, Shikha, Rekha, Dhvajo, Dando, Ratho, Gana. Ganapati, Brahmins you have in the society. Ganapati. Many, in Pune there are many. I have decided that when Mrs. Jha left on 7th February 22, so every 7th February I will call some such experts, Vedic experts, to ask them to recite the coming 7th I am going to do that. All the 8 Vikritis I am going to ask them to recite. Otherwise, how are these things start to be preserved, you tell me? Unless we put into a practice. Simply saying that, oh, we are very great, and books are in the library, of course. What are going to happen? So, this way, not only they stopped only at these 8 varieties, 8 modes of recitation, they went to count syllables. Matra Patha. While Matra Patha, each syllable, from which part of the process, what is happening, how much voicing is taking place, how much voice, how much prana it should go into it. Atma, Buddhya, Sametyarthan, Manoyung. Panini has a Shiksha book. Yes, he has said that. How do we speak? Is it not a wonder? How do we speak? How human beings speak? How is it something very unique to human beings? It's not available, this luxury, to other animals. That description also is given. Mano yungte vivakshaya manakaya agnimahanti sapreriyati marutam marutastu urasichanan mandram janayate swaram. This is how we all humans speak. I am talking in Sanskrit, but just to impress you that you have to study Sanskrit. This is my hidden agenda. But it is not for me. So these attempts to preserve the text, it's amazing. There are more than 10,000 suktas, mantras in the Rig Veda. And there are several Shukla Yajurveda, Krishna Yajurveda, and so all those things. All they are to be preserved here. Oral tradition, all this to be present here. Imagine how many years are required, from which age it is required. So, sir, do you want us all to start from 5 to preserve this text? This is what is your agenda? Not necessarily, my friend. But I want to know what is the meaning of the text. That much I know. This is how the text has been brought down to us today, some 8,000 years before, available 8,000. Can you imagine? Even Ganeshwari has got Patha Veda. Shakespeare has Patha Veda, different readings. No Patha Veda in the Rig Veda. Why? What was the method? No magic, no jadoo. These are the ways. So Prakriti Patha, Vikriti Patha, Matra Patha, these are the methods by which these texts have been. So text form has been preserved. Now meaning has to be preserved, content has to be preserved. So you can see the whole night you have to sit with me now. This attempt of preservation gave rise to emergence of scientific knowledge. You see? Science of phonetics. all before knowing this in any culture in the world. These texts are called Siksha. So Siksha, they were preparing the rules of how I produce, why it is ghosha, why voiced, unvoiced, friction, no friction. You see? All these features, phonetic features were being jotted down, and these are available. So the science of linguistics is a contribution of this tradition. Of course, later on they have, after the invent of instruments, etc., many things have been added. I do not deny that. But this is initial contribution of this country. Our children should know this or not. Why should they not know? You convince me. Is it irrelevant? Then why do you teach phonetics in Department of Linguistics or in physics? Why do you teach? If you teach that, that is important if it is in physics. But if in Sanskrit I teach this, you say it's not necessary. So, science of geometry. Again, look back to that yajna, this context. What was the activity? Simple activity. Prepare a Vedi, altar. Ceremonially, you have to preserve a fire. That fire has to be put there, and some oblations have to be offered there, aiming at addressing some deities. But the preparation of Vedi has to be mathematical. That is called Kalpa Sutra. So, geometry was required. Science of geometry came into being. Science of grammar, already I have told you. Science of etymology, what is the history of it? Every word has a history. You break it and you go into the history. This is etymology. Vyutpatti. Yaskacharya did that. So Nirukta, he wrote Nirukta. All this is before 500. Science of etymology. Science of meter, Chandas. Zero idea of zero has come from this tradition. Place value. You have to prepare a meter of so many matras, beats. So Pingala Chandas Shastra has given to this zero. Science of astronomy, mathematics, because you have to, you see, the source of preparation of calendar. These activities are to be prepared for the whole year. So if you want to prepare a calendar, how much study? You have to study all constellations. And all these are already happening in the Rig Veda. Tilak has pointed out. So, these are the earliest systems of knowledge. Before Panini. Ending in Panini. Next one. Later knowledge is done. Then all Buddhijeevis came. Oh, we are wasting money, time. By the time they have started forgetting Nama, Idam Namama. Now you do and you see what happens next day, Morcha will come. Now, what is the method? You order firing or what? You have to convince them that it is necessary. It is to be done, it is to be preserved, it is for preservation. You have to do. For convincing, what do you need? You need argument. An argument should be uniform. So you should have theory of argumentation. Here you enter logic. So now we are still 5th century, near about 4th century, 5th century. Kautilya, a great mind, Arthashastra. He mentions systems of knowledge prevalent at his time. Anvikshiki is logic and epistemology. Anvikshiki. Trayi, Vedic cultural documents. Trayi. Varta, commerce, economics. Dandaniti, political science. These were the systems of knowledge known to Kautilya. Why was he doing this? There is a adhyaya, there is a chapter to train the administrator. Who is the administrator? The king. So the king has to be taught. Which administrator will receive training today? Long before I wrote an article and sent it to Times of India. It came back. I said that, well, I did 2 MAs in linguistics, MA in Sanskrit, then PhD, then searching for a job, then somehow got the job, doing nothing, just bringing a morcha and earning crores and crores of rupees. It's such an easy way. So I said, I frame a course for politicians. Let them pass the course, then party should give a ticket. The article came back. I enjoy. Anyway, so what is Anvikshiki, you see? Kautilya says, this is a statement of Kautilya. What is Anvikshiki? Logic and epistemology. All rational systems should be called Anvikshiki. And in those days, 3 were very prominent. One was Sankhya philosophers, who inquired into the source of this universe, Purusha and Prakriti, matter and spirit, consciousness and matter. When it is happening? 500 BC. Yoga, how to bring about transformation in life, inner journey. Yoga. And Lokayata is materialism. In that international conference, I had said that all scientists are material. Charvak. 2.0. So, then science of logic and epistemology, Nyaya Shastra. Now, Kautilya is praising logic like anything, he says. You see that man is a rational being now. You quote somebody, Plato, this, that. But here Kautilya is telling this, you see now. This is what he says. What is logic? Logic is a lamp. Pradeepaha. Sarva Shastranam is science of sciences. What is logic? Logic is science of all sciences. Pradeepaha Sarva Shastranam. And you see, you are rational, your behavior should be rational. So, Upaya Sarva Karmanam. If you want to be rational, behave rationally, logic, without logic it is not possible. You are not aware about logic. But all, if it is rational, it is only through logic it is happening. Ashraya Sarva Dharmanam. All moral acts requires logic. Without that, you cannot be moral. Sashvadan Vikshiki Mata. For eternal, for all time to come, this will be the fact. So, logic is a science of all sciences. Science, then okay. Then Upanishad, by the time Upanishad, so Sanghita, Brahmana text, Aranyaka text, then Upanishad. At the end of the Vedic period, that text, Vedanta, Anta. But Vedanta, how many Vedanta? Is it one? How it happened? Or for everybody the same is the source? How is it possible? No, I interpret in this way. Fine. You? Oh, I interpret in that way. No, how can you interpret? This is my interpretation, you have to follow. Only nothing like that. You are free to interpret, I am free to interpret, but only there should be, if you can form the whole out of the interpretation without any problem, your interpretation also is acceptable. My interpretation should also be acceptable, that's all. That is the test. What does it indicate? Is it not freedom of thought? Democracy, you say. Is it not democracy? What else is democracy? Is it necessary that I should learn democracy from outside India? So, there was a necessity how to interpret a text. Science is created. That is called Purva Mimamsa. Purva Mimamsa is a science of sentence interpretation. He said, okay, don't take a stick in your hand to silence others. Let us sit together. Let us discuss. You convince me or I convince you. If I convince you, you accept me. That's all. If you convince me, I will accept you. That's all. So let us sit into the table. So sit around the table. What is required? Vada parampara. Debate. And what is Vada? Vada is not Jhagada. Vada is a discourse which aims at arriving at the truth. Tattva bhuvutsu katha. Oh, everything has been defined. Once you define it, nobody can do anything. No, I did not mean that. No. This is what is meant, accepted by all, through definition. You cannot change it now. Then you have to redefine. And all should agree. This should be the definition. Then again I will take that. So these were the methods of developing rationality in the society. So tradition of Vada for debating, promotion of rationality and a scholarship by society. Now you see, what else do you need? Don't you require this to develop it? So and therefore those who will be doing this job, those scholars should be honored in the society. There is to be a title for that. And that title is this: Pada Vakya Pramana Gya. Gya means one who knows. So one who has mastery over the structure of language is Pada Jnana. One who has mastery in the Purva Mimamsa is Vakya Jnana, Vakya Gya. And one who has mastery over logic is Pramana Gya. So from childhood, if this is your aim, that my child should develop these three, is it not required? This is our tradition. Next point that I will point out and draw your attention is the Indian culture is always a reflecting culture. Not that now I am telling you, don't accept as it is at the face value. You reflect whether it has some rationality or not. Then only you accept. Shrotavya. Upanishad tells you. He has given, everything has been formulated, theorized. First, you listen to me. Shrotavya. Next, mantavya. Reflect. Shrotavya, Shruti Vakyavya. The book of wisdom, you listen to the book of wisdom. then you reflect upon it logically. Mantavya. And once you apply this, then you will be concluding something now. When you conclude, then focus on that. Nididhyasitavya. This. So, adopting this, what was the earlier one? So this title was the title to show recognition by the society that here is a scholar in our society. Yes, that was the good. Then next one, reflecting culture. Now you see, why I say reflecting culture? Right in the Rig Veda, the first book of the world, what kind of reflection you find? This small line is very much well known. The yellow marked one. Ekam sad vipra bahudha vadanti. The truth is one. The wise men call it by different names. Is it a thought of a clan? A tribal thought? Then you have creation hymns. The Vedic Rishi sages are thinking of where from we all came. What is the source of this plurality? One sukta is Nasadiya Sukta. Many of you might have heard this name. I will tell you something about it little. A little later I will tell you. Conclusion was that some said that the source is one. Others said no, from many have come. Sources, there are many, plurality at the beginning itself, there is plurality. Others say the source is only singularity, so from singularity the plurality has emerged. Others say from plurality has manifested. These two. So if you have these two, one and many, then how many possibilities you have? Two variables, one and many. So you may have this. I am putting for understanding purposes. These are the only possibilities. Little water. No, the way what I am doing is this. Please see how I am reading it. The truth is one, and the same one has become many. Just like gold is your bangle, earring, necklace. Same gold has become. So this is also gold, this also is gold, this also is gold, and from where come? Gold, from gold only it has come. So the reality is one, and the one has become many. This is one. Thank you. Others, another one is one is reality, but the plurality is appearance. Now the same person, I am looking at Aditi. If I press my eyeball, I see there are two Aditis. They have given the example of moon, Dvichandra Jnana. So under the condition, but two are not true. Only one is the reality. Two are appearance. So the one appears as many. And the third one is source is not one, but many. So the many has come from many, not one. And the fourth possibility is neither one nor many. The source is neither one nor many. If you look into the philosophical systems, you can bring them under these only four categories. This is just a help that I am providing you to understand why the same text is resulting into so many interpretations. But ultimately what is happening is only this much. So, just one example I gave you. This is Vallabhacharya's Shuddha Advaita. This is Shankaracharya's Advaita. This is all Maya, not real, appearance. This is Nyaya and all realist systems. Source not one but many, so many have come from many. And this is Buddhist idealism, neither from one nor from. So neither this group nor the Nyaya group, but a separate you have to create to understand this. How simple it becomes to understand, This is what is happening. So a number of knowledge systems started emerging out of this debate. And for debate, whatever the tools were necessary, one after the other started coming into being. So there is a need, mother of invention. So all systems were coming one after the other. This Nasadi, I'm not going to read, this will take whole night to understand. You see what he says? At the beginning of the creation. So before plurality, this is where this reflection is taking place in the Rig Veda. 8,000, at least 8,000, if I take Tilak, 8,000 years before, the sage is contemplating what is the source of this plural world. So should I posit something X, or there was nothing? And he says it was neither Sat nor Asat. And goes on. There was no night, no day, no constellations, no sun, no day, no night, no death, no immortality. And finally what he beautifully says, that who knows, and then in the middle he says that there must be some X from where it cannot be the case. In Bhagavad Gita also you have na bhavo vidyate sataha. It is not that from nothing everything has come. So there has to be some X, capital X, from which all the plurality has emerged. That X may be singular or plural is a debatable question. But there has to be something from where everything has emerged. If you say that, who is that? Is it the Brahman? And then finally he says, who knows whether he also knows or not? How beautiful, Can you imagine this kind of a humorous statement 8,000 years before in the Rig Veda? Iyam vrisishtiryata ababhuva yadivadadena yo asya adhyaksha parame vyuman. You are thinking that there is someone, some capital X, from where all you are going to explain whether he knew or not. Is it? So anga veda yadivana veda, whether he knew or not. You see? I mean, should you not enjoy all this? No? Should not my children enjoy this? Next point that I want to say. All this is meant for what? For life. So Indian culture is life-centric. It is not to show my intelligence. It is not an intellectual exercise that I should do all this. To win, to be proud, to defeat, to enjoy defeat of others. for enrichment of life. So it's life-centric. Developed models of then what for they are? They are meant for transformation. Get transformed. This thought must transform you. Broadly, 9 systems of philosophy, Astika and Nastika darshanas. Each darshana you take as a model of transformation. No problem. Accept anyone, because the aim is one and the same. And so, there was no need of destroying a mata of others. Each system may be viewed as a providing model of transformation of life. Freedom of choice. Then it is your choice. You choose out of this. We are all in the state of baddha, narrow. We want to be universal. Each one everybody wants you to be universal, having universal mind. Mukta. Go beyond boundary. This journey of baddha towards mukta is what is understood in the tradition as spiritual journey. Nothing more than this. The state of baddha is what each one of us is. We have limitations. All of us are limited beings, limited capacity. The state of baddha is what we want to discover, and then telling that how is it going to happen? He says just you discover yourself, that's all. So Atma Sakshatkar, that's all. You discover, you will become mukta. All boundaries is going to disappear. This is the ultimate goal of human life. So Indian culture is life-centric. They did not stop anywhere, they went on. Yes, just a minute. Now, theorizing human behavior in terms of goals of life. What should be the goal of life? They say there are two-tiered goal of life. And that is to be achieved through education. So, education has to be holistic. Not that I shall be interested only in discovering the external world. Because truth is not in isolation. When I am discovering, I am engaged in discovering, I also influence the external world. The external world I want to know, it is not, in the external world is influencing me, I am also influencing external world. And therefore, if you simply concentrate on analyzing the external reality, then you are not able to arrive at the truth. You have to also inquire yourself. So therefore, two knowledge systems to materialize the goals of life. One goal was abhyudaya, achievement. Whatever, 100 rupees, doesn't matter, achievement. 100 crores, achievement. Which one will be the last one? Is there any upper limit? And beautiful metaphor has been used by Manu. Manu is learned from politicians now. We have not even seen the book. we learn only from politicians' speech. He says, human desire is like fire. And if you want to go, if you are decided to satisfy human desire, well, the best thing that fire needs is ghee. He likes so much. Go. Will he going to come up and say, no, enough, I don't want. Najatu kamaha kamanam upabhoge na shamyati havisha krishnamavartnaiva bhuya eva vivardhate. It goes on. Give me more, give me more, give me more. So the first goal, Abhyudaya, has a limitation. If it continues this idea of give me more, give me more, give me more, will you be at peace anytime? Is it possible? Therefore, they went for another goal of life. And that goal of life is called Nishreyasa. And normally all you know, Mukti, Apavarga, Nirvana, whatever you call it, that way. That is a state of contentment. So fulfillment. So two goals, achievement and fulfillment. If two goals to be achieved, then two types of education necessary. And the Upanishad gives you those two education. Vidyam cha, avidyam cha, yastad veda ubhayam saha. No. When grey hair, then I will start the other one. Right from day one, both should go parallel hand in hand. That kind of samskara you have to give to the learners simultaneously. And then there is a thorough analysis of dukkha, the human suffering. How can you get rid of that? The logicians have done that. A sutra, Nyaya Sutra 112. Dukkha. You see? Dukkha, suffering. Because you have janma, no? Janma because of some good acts, bad acts. But those acts have gone. They left behind in us certain residues which are responsible for giving you another form. And that is caused by pravritti. Then dosha is attitude. Mithya gyan. So all suffering, ultimately they analyzed, all that we suffer is only because of misunderstanding, wrong knowledge, knowing X as Y, not X as X, Y as Y. What is the remedy? Develop a method by which you know X as X, Y as Y. That is called Tattva Jnana. So dukkha, janma, pravritti, dosha, mithya jnana nam, uttarottara paye. So root cause is mithya jnana. Mithya jnana can be removed only by tattva jnana. Only by knowing X as X, the mistake that occurred X as Y will vanish. So tattva jnana will remove mithya jnana. So that is the cause. If that is the cause is gone, effect will go. Dosham is the attitude. Someone tells me that, no, sir, in front of you, Vrinda is praising you. But when you are going, no, she was telling something bad about you. Earlier, when I was carrying a very good impression about Vrinda. But when I heard that, Isa, then when Vrinda is coming, I am not even looking at her. Then Vrinda comes and tells me, sir, what happened? Why? Well, he was telling that this is And then he would say, call him. And it was found that he was lying. But he created all he wanted, he created. So mithya jnana produces dosha. Dosha is raga, dvesha. This is called dosha. Either raga or dvesha. These two. Bhagavad Gita is full of analysis of this. So that dosha is the cause of my behavior. So the cause is gone, effect is gone. Cause is gone, effect is gone. Cause is gone, effect is gone. And ultimately dukkha will vanish. This kind of analysis was presented by logicians. So mithya jnana can be removed only by knowledge of fact or truth. Tattva jnana. Next. Then how to know? Truth doesn't, I told you, truth does not exist in isolation. It's a complex. Everything is connected, some way or other. Nothing can remain in isolation. Everything is connected. And therefore, they developed a model of enquiry into truth. A holistic model of inquiry into truth. All should be addressed. Pramata is the knower. Prameya is the whole world. Pramana, the process of knowing. And Pramiti, the resultant knowledge. All the four are required to be addressed. Then only you will be able to arrive at the truth and not minus anything. And therefore, through this model, we will arrive at the truth. You see again, need, there is a need, model is ready. And thereafter you find that all philosophers are started inquiring into the truth under this model. Even Buddhists, the Jainas, and everybody. Next. Arriving at the truth also through sharing thoughts. Sometimes you may require to engage yourself in dialogue to know the fact, to know the truth. So a tradition of dialogue, developing tools to facilitate dialogue. Ideal form of dialogue is vada. I have already told you. Theory of inference. Everything does not come before my, even scientists, Has any scientist seen the molecule, the particles? Even through instrument is it possible to be seen? It is only by knowing the effect, the cause is inferred. So inference is required as a tool developed. Now I am teaching the theory of inference every Thursday. Then language came into the focus. That sometimes language creates problem in conversation. In a dialogue, I use a language which may have double meaning. Or maybe my intention was different, I said something different. Or maybe the one word was there having different connotations. So you require to develop a language which should have minimum chance of ambiguity developed. That language is called Navya Nyaya language. That happened after 10th century AD. Indian culture encourages free thinking. Now I don't think you need any explanation for this. I hope by now whatever I have said. No dogmatism. So all storytellers must shut up. They should not teach us. How? You give this, only this example you give. Upanishad is only one. Same Upanishad is the ground for Shankara, ground for Madhva, ground for Ramanuja, ground for Vallabha, ground for Nimbarka, ground for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How? Are they mad? So unless you grant freedom of interpretation, how is this possible? How Vedanta, so many varieties of Vedanta, and nobody is going to kill. Okay, you are satisfied, no? You are happy with this interpretation. Carry on. No problem. So, don't teach me democracy. Don't teach me logic. Don't teach me freedom of thought. My children should be taught this. You know, I am addressing the whole world now. So, Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, Vallabha, Nirmark, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Had there been dogmatism, there would have been only one system of philosophy. Only one Vedanta. Either Shankara or Ramanuja should be destroyed, Matha should be destroyed. No. All are flourishing. Next. Now, if you want to talk in modern terminology of the knowledge systems, the terms which are known to you, you can put all these texts even into these categories. So I just sit here and read a little small. Yeah. So you can read them, no? You can read them? Not possible, no? So I don't know how to make it big.
Ayurveda, Padartha Shastra,
Padartha Shastra,
Rasayana Shastra, Dharma Shastra,
Dharma Shastra,
Yoga Shastra, Artha Shastra,
and parallel modern terms you can give.
yeah, that is
English one.
health science is Ayurveda, physics is Padartha Shastra, chemistry is Rasayana Shastra, sociology is Dharma Shastra, psychology is Yoga Shastra, governance and administration Artha Shastra, also political science, commerce, economics is Artha Shastra, aesthetics is Rasa Shastra, theories of literary
Art,
art,
Alankara Shastra,
Alankara Shastra, fine arts,
Shilpa Shastra, or
Sangeeta Shastra,
Gandharva Veda.
Gandharva Veda, weaponry, Dhanurveda,
Dhanurveda.
cookery, Paka Shastra,
Even there are books on sports, you know.
yeah,
Krida Kutuhalam is the name of the book. Why should Sachin not read such a book? He doesn't know. I mean, it's not his fault, no. Had someone told him that there is a book, he would have read it. Next one. So all aspects of life have been addressed, my friends. What is required is to familiarize oneself with the importance and contributions of this old age Indian intellectual, philosophical and spiritual traditions. Not to believe in hearsay. Don't read only translations. But for that you have to learn Sanskrit. Hidden agenda. To share the knowledge of truth with others. With this background, one can provide solutions to many burning problems we are facing today. Take example of dharma, havoc, what not is happening. What is the meaning of it? Have you cared even to see? Spoiled translation, spoiled everything. the word dharma does not mean religion. I am telling you, quote me. It means moral order, that which sustains humanity. Dharanat dharma mityahu. Morality, ethical behavior, compassion, all that is conveyed by humanity. So dharma is humanity. Kautilya sets 3 goals of life. The 4th one, here only one clause he used, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So dharma, artha, kama, these 3 he emphasizes. And he shows the role of dharma. All morality, he says that. You go on accumulating wealth, but immorally, not acceptable to Kautilya. So dharma is the check, is the yardstick, even for accumulation of wealth. Artha. So dharma aviruddha, that what is his sentence. Dharma which does not come in conflict with morality. Then only artha, then only kama. So dharma aviruddha should be kama and artha. It is that translation that has just spoiled everything. Do you agree? Dharma is not religion, my friend. When I was the director of the Center of Advanced Study in Sanskrit, all my colleagues, I requested them, 1 year you spend only in searching the meaning of the term dharma. And at the end of the year, nobody came with any expression where dharma can be equated. It's a concept of another culture altogether, another context. Dharma is a term of another context, another culture. Translation, how can you can use translation freely. So go on searching now, surfing Mahabharata, Ramayana, everywhere, and you'll find in what way the dharma is being used. Mahabharata, I have got that story, says, dharma eva hato hanti. You kill dharma, everything is gone. Why I have translated it as humanity, you will come to know this. The Yudhishthira is telling, dharma eva hato dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. You protect humanity, everything is protected. Tasmat dharmam natyajami. I am not giving up morality. Manu dharmo hato avadit. If it is killed, it will kill me. So at all cost I have to preserve, I have to maintain dharma. Is it religion? Shruyatam dharma, some beautiful statements are there, Shruyatam dharma sarvasvam shrutva cha avadharyatam atmanah prati. What is not good for me, how can it be good for others? If something is harmful, then believe that it is also harmful to you, then it is also harmful to others. You should not behave like that. Is it religion? Yadyad atmani cheta nat tat parasya. Whatever you want to have, you also think that others should also have that. And then a beautiful definition by Manu. Again Manu. These are the features he is mentioning. Contentment, dhritihi, kshama, damaha, asteyam, saucham, indriya nigraha, dhihi, vidya, satyam, akrodha, dashakam dharma lakshanam. 10 features you discover, and then you understand what dharma is, religion. How can one translate dharma as religion? So, my friends, boring time is over. Rishi Rina Trust aims at, therefore, a platform to acquire knowledge of the truth, the fact, from the original text of the sages. No secondary sources. We are indebted to the rishis who have given us all this. We want to repay by sharing all this that we have learned from our elders. Motto of the trust, Muktaha Anyan Vimuchayet. Once you are liberated, see that others also are liberated. So, thank you. Thank you all. And before I sit, once again I thank Brinda and her team for doing this beautiful gathering and allowing me to meet so many people. In whatever way you can associate with this, please associate and see that this activity of sharing continues. Only this much I want. Thank you.